Good evening and welcome to the theatre. Please switch off your mobile phone to avoid disturbing the performers as well as the audience. Photography or videography is strictly not allowed. Enjoy the show.
Well, I think we may have got the wrong announcement. Is possible?
Good evening and welcome to this performance. It will be exactly like live theatre. You don't necessarily have to turn off your mobile phone. You probably have a no contact delivery expected. You can put yourself on mute and take the call. Next, if you are anxious or stressed, do know this is an anxious and stressful time. If you have access to it, do consider seeking professional help to navigate it. Lastly, when theatres do open, please go back. We will meet you there.
We will meet. We will meet. Hi, everyone. It's a nice frame. I like it. Hi. Let me get closer. Hi, everyone. Good evening. Hi. Wow. So nice to see all of you. Just 1 second. There you are. Hi, everyone. I hope you're comfortable. I hope you have a beverage to keep you company. For those whose cameras are not turned on, may I please request you to turn your videos on? This is already a fairly disorienting experience, so it would be wonderful if we could see more of you. Just a request. I'm going to give it a few seconds. All right. Hi, it's lovely to see you all. If you can, do turn your videos on. It would be nice to see all of you. I want to start with a question. Do you remember what you were doing when you first heard about the coronavirus? I mean, heard about it like you really took notice of it. Raise your hand if you remember. Oh, yeah? Oh, wow, okay, that's awesome. That's a lot of you. I was in the breakfast hall of a Delhi hotel. Wuhan was on the news, and I remember we were eating cold aloo puri. And I asked my friend to look away from the TV because we had more pressing concerns. We had to get to the theatre quickly, where we were performing that evening. It was an important show for us, you know. It was a show at a national theatre festival, but we didn't know that our pressing concerns and the news coming out of Wuhan would be inextricably linked. Those of you who did raise your hand, may I ask you to hop off mute, one of you, and share your moment with me? The ones who said they remember? Anyone? No?
I was at Bilal Bagh protesting.
I can't hear you.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi, I'm Lakshmi. I was at Bilal Bagh. We were protesting, and I remember a conversation between some of us wondering if we should go back for a protest performance or stay home, because my grandfather is 75, so that's the first time I really took notice of it.
Wow, thank you for sharing. Anyway, we ate our cold aloo puri and we headed to the theatre to set up for the show. Wires, masking tape, measuring tape, seats, quick lunch, coffee, more tapes, rehearsals. You know how it goes. Minutes before the show began, we sat in a moment of what I like to think of as limbo. I could hear the performers warming up in the green room. The stage was quiet. Everyone else, the crew, the ushers, everybody was in their positions. It's a beautiful time. It's filled with breath, with possibility, months of work culminating to this moment of pause before the show begins. The show began. People sat quite close together. You can see that in the picture. They surrounded the performers on four sides. You know, they sat so close that their knees were touching their neighbor's knees, their arms were touching their neighbor's arms. They were breathing the same air, sneezing into their palms in the Delhi cold. Now this moment is a source of mild horror and severe grief, actually. Do you go to the theatre? I mean, not the movies. Do you go to the theatre to watch live performance? Just raise your hand if you do. Wow, we have a really seasoned audience. I'm going to ask you to raise your hand or communicate with your hands quite a bit because, frankly, this is the only way we can talk. May I ask one of you, what you liked about going to the theatre? Anyone? Just hop off mute and share with us. Anybody?
The environment,
The environment.
just being surrounded by people who are engaging with that artwork.
Yeah, surrounded by people. How terrifying. Do you miss the theatre? I mean, no pressure to raise your hand really, but if you do. Good evening and welcome to this performance. That second announcement, it was a lie. This cannot be exactly like live theatre. Please don't switch off your cell phones. We don't want your delivery girl or boy to wait. There could be a cyclone outside. It could be really hot where you are. It could be really cold. They could be really tired. Also, please don't go off video. I want to see you. I've looked for you everywhere this past year. Do you also look for me? Raise your hand if you do. That's very kind. You don't even know me. I started to write love letters earlier this year. At least, that's what they felt like. You know, even before the pandemic began, it seemed like we were in the throes of transformation as a nation. You know, I was sad. I was angry, like many others I know, and I had started to read about love. Love as resistance, love as power, love for love's sake, love because. Pyare activist G. Today you woke up ash-mouthed and grey with the shoulders of your grandma in the last years. You wonder how the fire in your belly became an agarbatti tip. Slowly, holy basil. The boxes on TV folded. Your eyelids fell. You opened the book, signed in solidarity, now also solitude. You shelve it without purpose. Your fingers curl from something. You contemplate the arch of your foot, the weight in your tongue, the depth of your gums. You take a seat at the table. You eat banana bread. You ask, what if it's gone? What if it's gone? That feeling. You answer, what if it's gone? What if it's gone? That feeling. The love poems were quick remedies for isolation. They were a temporary substitute for the theatre that I could not make. They were a way to speak to the people I didn't engage with frequently. With those I physically could not, to those who worked, who fought, who demanded, but mostly to those who were quiet, indifferent, oblivious, to us, to the many parts of us as a whole, as a collective. To the uncles and aunties, mine and yours, forwarding good morning memes to each other. To the aunties in parlors and the uncles in parks. To the uncles in parlors and the aunties in parks. To their dilated pupils in anger. You know, I said to a friend once, at the heart of all strong problems were uncles and aunties. My friend said that I was not far from the day that I would be one, an uncle or auntie, that is. I think uncle. To which I replied, uncleness and auntiness was a state of mind. It was not an age thing. To which she said, all my reading on love was proving to be useless. How? How to love someone you don't agree with? How to love someone you don't agree with? Pyare uncle ji or auntie ji. How many of you understand Hindi here? Raise your hand. Oh, wow. I'm going to ask one of you to hop out very kindly to be a volunteer for this poetic experiment to help me do this next poem. Please, one of you. Somebody? I can't see a raised hand. Ah, yes. Maya Rao. Thank you for hopping off mute. So, Maya, I'm going to say one line, and then you will say, wo maaf. You know what that
Right.
means? That is forgiven. Then I'll say another line, and then you will say, wo bhi maaf. And we'll do like this choreographed jugalbandi for a while, and we'll see how it goes. Okay?
Do I get to choose whether it's Vomaf or Vobhimaf, or I must do it alternately?
Alternately, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. प्यारे अंकल जी और
Vomaf,
आंटी जी,
Vomaf,
आप शादी में चाट वाली प्लेट लॉन पे धीरे से छोड़ के आते हैं,
Vobhimaf,
आपका बाथरूम जो धोता है उनको 100 रुपए ज्यादा देने से शर्माते हैं,
Vomaf,
आप मॉल में शॉपिंग कर कर के थक जाते हैं लेकिन फिर भी करते जाते हैं,
Vobhimaf,
आपने पहली डिग्री दिल्ली से ली, दूसरी अमेरिका से ली, तीसरी व्हाट्सएप से ली,
Vomaf,
आप रोज डिनर खाते वक्त टीवी न्यूज के गुनगुन गाते हैं,
Vobhimaf,
वो भी माफ। जब बच्चे स्कूल में रूलर से पिटते हैं आप थोड़े तो खुश हो जाते हैं,
Vomaf,
गरीबी का कारण आलसीपन होता है ऐसा आप पार्टीज में बतलाते हैं,
Vobhimaf,
गोली की आवाजों के ऊपर खर्राटे लेके सो पाते हैं,
Vomaf,
आप सोचते हैं अरे आप तो ये नहीं, ये तो सिर्फ दूसरे लोग कर पाते हैं,
Vobhimaf,
वो भी माफ, वो भी माफ, आपको आपकी नफरत माफ,
Vomaf,
वो माफ, सब माफ, सब माफ।
Vobhimaf.
Thank you. On a scale of 1 to 5, how relatable do you think that poem was? 1 for not relatable at all, and 5 for so relatable you feel related to me. 10, okay, wow. 5, 2, 4. Andrew, yes, 2, because I don't think you understand Hindi. 1, okay. Okay, I'm asking you this not just because I want you to lift up your hand, because this last year I've been thinking a lot about having an additional source of income, a parallel professional skill, as it were. And apparently, being a content creator is something I could do, my friends tell me. And content only succeeds if it's relatable. You know, it has to feel like I'm talking about the audience in front of me. You know, they should see themselves or people they know in the content, you know. From performing to 20, 30, 500 people, my goals should now be in the thousands. 21K, 100,000, 323K, millions, 1.1 million. from having witnesses, we now talk about followers. And we follow people, you follow people, because they create relevant, relatable content. Content creators also become popular because of their personalities. Could you rate my personality so far on a scale of 1 to 5? 1 for cringe-inducing and 5 for aspirational, that is, you want to be me. 4, 5. 5. Is it because you know me? Don't want to hurt me? It's okay. You could have said 1. I'm open to criticism, although this is very flattering. You know, I have to be open to criticism if I want to be a content creator, because as a performer in front of a live audience, criticism is instant. It's not in the form of likes, shares, comments, you know. It's immediate, obviously, as you know, and it's inexplicable, that cliche. It's still something that the grimy, manipulative hands of algorithms cannot yet reach and commodify. It's a connection or lack thereof. The thing is, I can see you. I'm trying to feel you. I'm trying to understand if you are with me, but I can't fully tell. Can you give me a thumbs up if I am? Can you give me a definite sign? Do I have the face for internet popularity? The charm? प्यारे इन्फ्लुएंसर जी, आपको देख के अच्छा लगता है. Wearing no makeup for twilight cocktails, appetizers on a stick, that blazer dress, those baroque hoops, that promise of Jannat, hashtag when all this is over. फिर why I feel itna sad when you peer cutely into the camera, dance to Drake against plants and fairy lights, make kale quinoa salads and do gentle yoga. Will I also step out with grace from my Insta stories, my face contoured, my winged eyeliner ready for takeoff, and step into the new sanitary world with toned glutes and whoa, special wala Saturday night optimism? Would you say, with this makeup skill set, I have it in me to become an influencer? On a scale of 1 to 5. Repeatedly the same answer. I don't have it. It's cool. I'll have to continue doing theatre for a while. I can get with that. 1 second. Now I don't think we're going to meet on social media where you're going to like or not like my content. Content. Is your life content? Are you content with your life? You know, those who've embraced the new world tell me I'm being rather naive for harping on this art and content thing, because both exist. Both are consumed. Do you think, though, there's a difference between content and art? Raise your hand. Can I ask one of you what that is? To you. Anyone?
Content can exist on its own, but art cannot exist without the artist.
Yeah. Yeah. That's fair. Art cannot exist without the artist. And throughout this year, artists, especially performing artists, we've been wondering about what our work really means. You know, outside the questions of survival and livelihood. And the memes that appeared in early 2020, early in the lockdown actually, are not an answer. You know those memes, right? When you were locked in, when you were isolated, remember, you turn to art, that dance class, that funny movie, that book, that series, that piece of music. The memes are great. I mean, Theoretically, we all get it. Art is important, especially in a pandemic, man. It's really important to be entertained, occupied, stimulated. But I'm talking about something a bit deeper, something more fundamental in a sense. What does it mean? If congregation, if proximity, the prerequisites for a live show are the perfect conditions for a jumpy virus, how are people who perform live meant to now be camera savvy, tech savvy, imagine and create their work for a frame that doesn't fully understand us, that we don't fully understand? Look, it's only been 9 months. Am I naive in thinking this interaction is only until we tide over, or will we meet anyway? If liveness is not a priority, by default are performing artists also not? Is our work that easily dispensable? Although to be fair, you are here, the audience is present, the artist too is present. Pyare Kalakar Ji means artist, FYI. Can't say you in this poem kyunki full betrayal na. I am also artist kinda. Also, self-reflection is very, very sexy in my opinion. Plus, we're all cut from the same cloth and the scissor that cut us was already blunted by economy. Upar se ye besharam virus. Anyways, obstacles equals opportunity to grow. So here goes. I will be doing Insta Live 4 times per hour, singing 161 styles, dancing in 214 styles, hooping, pawing, taking pics, mainly cat, okay, only cat. DJing, tattooing my youngest sis, writing about writer's block, playing 13.2 instruments legit, each one pretty okay. I'll be using 7 social media channels to reach you. What is consent if I'm decent in art? And if I see that you didn't see, I might even ring your doorbell and run. When you open Darwaza, I'll be the one at an agreeable distance in an impressionist art wala hazmat suit with ukulele, singing 1 number self-written sonnet, 2 numbers post-funk jazz pop in light Bolly fusion with my leg in full split and also doing halka sa belly dance, 1 moving monologue from Othello, Ithilo, Kithilo, and streaming live for Neighbor Ki Dadi, and streaming live for mom, dad plus cousin in Houston, and streaming live for you, for me, for us, and streaming live but little bit dying inside. The artist is present. The artist is present. In fact, the artists are present. This is that moment in the show. Hey, you can say hi to yourself. This is that moment in the show where the artist must now tell you a personal, intimate story. The artist must strive to move you. Otherwise, what are you doing here? What am I doing here? The artist must strive to move you. The artist must take you backstage, It's a metaphor. The artist must take you backstage. The artist must tell you about her childhood. Otherwise, how do you move anyone? All moving stories start with when I was 6 years old. The artist will now show you a photograph of herself when she was very young. There's the artist. The artist is very small. That's me, with the unblurred face sitting badly in the first row. Pyare Boys G. I was 3, max 4, when you put your hand up my skirt. You were also 3, max 4, when the class teacher slapped you silly with crispy sounds. Magar, मुझे मजा बिल्कुल नहीं आया. Not because I was full of virtue. No. But because everything was ugly. No, the word is behuda. You to 100% Princi plus class teacher. Your dad, mom's dumb look. The skirt, the school, the shoes. The neighborhood with its fat gates and big dogs. My small open mouth at the back of a bottle green scooter. Windless, endless. And every moment after that. I have to admit, I wondered about putting that story out there in front of you. It's a little bit like we must talk about our trauma. I wonder about the personal always making its way into the theatre. You know, to perform in this kind of confessional mode, in a sense. Somehow women are always expected to do that, you know, in film, on TV, in fiction, in the theatre, and we often do. Because there are things to confess. It takes a long time before we catch up with our own shame. And speaking your shame to strangers is the #1 way to reclaim yourself. Can I ask you a question? I've asked you so many. Do you find it annoying when people tell personal stories on stage, especially if they're like slightly uncomfortable? Raise your hand. Nobody will raise their hand because this is a very, very good audience. Politically correct, open to receive. Does it make you feel now you can't critique the artist because now we just have to appreciate her honesty? No. Wow, I feel that way. But anyway, thank you. Note it for the future. Here on, you'll be hearing quite a few of these stories. But my friend in Europe says that the European theatre is way past this coming onto stage and performing personal stories about struggle and strife and shame and the glaring unfairness of growing up. Unless the stories are from the point of view of an immigrant. Or expatriates, brown ones, an exotic other from the subcontinent. So I talked to this friend, my European friend. He said, come, theatres have opened at 50% capacity. Come and perform next year, make us a pitch. And don't ever do accents. He told me to contact his friend who headed a theatre and who apparently wanted me to bare my soul to him. This brief about the soul, no, it's a very tricky one. Anyway, turns out that the head of this theatre was American and, well...
Hi. I'd like to perform my pitch to you if that's okay.
All right.
प्यारे white people जी, अब तक I used to laugh कि fair and lovely मतलब total regressive, लेकिन शायद I have very much mistaken कि this is a deeper aspiration, a reverse melanin manifestation, a colonial anti-subjugation and innocent love for a first world nation, a desire to be a doctor rather than always malaria patient. What's wrong? कि मुझे चाहिए a piece of sun on blonde face and hair in park with beer, goat, cheese, crackers and sweet lovers, social distanced ही सही, at least picnic तो बनेगा. What's wrong कि मुझे चाहिए वो European वाली dignity that oldies have, sipping espresso, listening to Vivaldi, waiting for moth without flies on the face. What's wrong कि मुझे भी चाहिए pandemic में hiking और biking, go to restaurant of my liking, have inside DNA वाला confidence कि यार white people have conquered continents. Corona क्या ही चीज है? What's wrong? कि मुझे चाहिए more confidence and less mosquitoes. Thank you.
Really? Yeah, moving.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Did you understand all of it?
Yes. I understand what you're trying to get at.
Okay. So do you think I could perform there? I can dress up more if you like. You know, wear all kinds of like.
We'll have to get back to you, scheduling and such. But we'll keep in touch.
But you asked me to bare my soul.
Yeah, I did. Anyway, have a good rest of your day. I have to get to another, one of these. So,
Picnics?
yeah.
Wow, that was excruciating to watch. But I thought that line was really fab. White people have conquered continents in the past. Corona kya hi cheez hai? It didn't work. Bearing my soul did not work. But at least I can get back to writing about the people that matter, aunties and uncles, good old brown people. You know, another childhood friend who's present in that little class photograph I showed you, she has been in deep distress throughout the year. Her two major complaints have been her husband and her mother-in-law. So original. Her husband and her mother-in-law. So through this year, I called her off and on. She would whine a bit. I would also whine a little, but my problem seemed insignificant in front of hers. You know, she was dealing with a full house 24/7. Her child, house chores. She literally got no time to herself. All three of them, her husband, her mother-in-law, and her child, they wanted different things to eat at different times. We know this lockdown reality of women, huh? Women, sorry. We know this. Someone you know or you yourself have faced this. Anyway, I made my weekly call to her. She said, no, this isn't a great time. I said, no, it is a great time. Please go to the balcony, sit there and speak to me, I said. Tell me what is wrong. Talk to me, I said. She said, listen, another time. I said, no, you need time out. You need to talk to someone. You don't have any friends. Please just talk to me. You'll feel better. So she began. My mother-in-law is very demanding. I hate being one of those women who's like, my mother-in-law is very demanding. But dude, she sits all day, she said. She watches over me like a bloody hawk. She always has, but before at least she had a satsang and all. Now she won't even give me a little space, she said. She was talking, but I had obviously wandered off. Right there, in the middle of my friend's mother-in-law problem, was a poem. Pyare Mummy Ji means mother-in-law, not mother by law. Oh, Pyare Mummy Ji. I can break my back for your house, no problem. But I'm not even losing weight. Moon rise, moon down, Amavasya, I have the same thought. Is the world now as small as the grilled balcony of B1 Sankirti apartment? I don't mind banging plates, Mummy Ji, but only if I can do it alone, that is without you. How it's possible that you watch 65 hours of shouty TV news in a 24-hour day but have no time to even cut dhania? How come your cholesterol is A1 despite my oily samosa and deep fried meditation for your painless moksha? Just kidding. Why won't you take a break? And let the long fart into the wind instead of the divan with the new batik cover? Why can't I close my door and paint my toes and talk softly about love, about little more than bhindi, little less than Kalyug? Right, back to my phone call. My friend is still whining. And she says, you know how these kids are, na? Like, I can't blame this child also for losing it. He hasn't seen anyone in months. He wants my attention all the time. And your husband, I asked. Dude, his timings are all over the place. He works a lot. And when he is not working, he also just wants to sit. He keeps saying, baby, tell me what to do. I have no problem. But if I have to tell him simple things like, clear the dishes after dinner, but rinse them before you go to bed, or else we'll sit all night with dried up dal, sabji, pasta, bhindi on them, I might as well do it myself, na? One more poem arrives as she speaks about this glorious creature called the husband. प्यारे husband जी, आ गए. ऐसा लगता है कि सूरज सुबह ही डूब गया. मतलब the sun set in the morning itself when you, with your innocent, unwashed face, dragged yourself to the dining table to drink chai and asked, "What is breakfast? आज क्या खिलाओगी?" ऐसा लगता है कि वहीं चुल्लू भर पानी में डूबने की बजाय swim करते करते I reached the beach for a goldy sunset. There are many hot, cute waiters, not like you. And many clones of my maid Mangla Didi. I don't call them servants since 2010. Sweeping, sobbing, never robbing. Ma'am, drinks mein kya lengi? Cosmopolitan, I say, because I am. Get out of here. Back to the phone call. I really must sustain one train of thought. While my friend is still talking about her husband, I interrupt her. I say, why do you get married only? You knew he was like this, no, before you got married? She says, listen, what to do now? How the hell was I supposed to know that Corona will come and screw my life and we'll all be locked in together? On top of that, no servant also, yeah. I wish I could personally go to her house and pick her up. Right now, I feel like falling at her feet, dude. I need her. I say, please don't call them servants. But simultaneously, another poem. I have a trilogy of poems based on one whining phone call with my friend. It was so worth it to call her. Call your friends. Pyare servant ji. Maaf karo, don't know why I'm so obsessed with you. I stalk you on FB aajkal like an ex, and in a way you are. I think it's maybe because I miss your ever damp smell and your stupid shrill voice, and how you don't know that in houses like ours, we like it quiet. Even the shitty stuff. When it's quiet, there's more dignity. I miss how you say you're from Darjeeling, even though I know you're from Nepal. I've seen an atlas, and to be honest, I don't care. As long as you are there at the door at 10 a.m., my sweaty sweetie with that look in your eye. Show them that look in your eye, Kamla. I will deep clean the shit out of your house, you filthy animal. And if you can't come na, Kamla, I'm thinking, let's get some ships or tempos and ride the tide to your basti and bring you safely to the shores of our gated communities, Kamla. Let's make some effing history. Back to the phone call with my friend. Yes, it's hard, I continue. By now, I'm just offering platitudes. I really wish I could be of some help to you, I say. She says, no one can do anything. I wish you weren't married, I say. Me too, she says. But now what to do? Silence. You know, it's really tiring to hear you say that all the bloody time, she said. You call me. You tell me I need to talk, then I talk. I tell you the things that are crap in my life and you say, I told you not to get married. I mean, how absurd. I did get married like 10 years ago. It's done. Accept it. You need to move on, she says. I say, but you just now said, no, I also wish I wasn't married. She says, it doesn't matter. I'm allowed to complain. You know, we both made choices that we thought would make us happy. And it does. It does make me happy being married. It's just really hard right now, she says. I'm sorry, I say. Forget it. Her voice completely changes. She says, you think you're superior because you think you're an artist. And you think my choices are bad because they're not exactly like yours. Why are you giving me a hard time? Because your industry is shut and you don't have an audience to perform to? You feel useless, no? Without an audience, you are ordinary, just like me. And you're really lonely. Silence. You know, seriously, never mind, she says. I'm sorry, I say servants. I don't mean it badly. I help her out as much as I can. Language matters, I say. Oh, yeah. Just because you use more refined language, you think your life and your actions are the same. You think you're such a woke person? Isn't that what they call people like you? I think you call me just to dig for material. You're so selfish. Call me when you really care. Silence, and she hangs up. Another poem. This time, a love poem to the woke people of the world. How many of you are familiar with this term, woke? Raise your hand. Everybody. How many of you identify with this term? Nobody. Oh, one person. Two people. At least you're honest. How many of you think wokeness is actually now a slightly mocking term? Oh, I see. And you think you're woke. I love it. How many of you missed me the way I missed you? Pyare woke ji means person who has awoken to injustice. These days, kitni aag for you, no choice but to douse it with artisan gin, the botanist, the librarian, hapusa, shapusa, lekin not helping, so making smoky cocktails. Yaar, this whole woke life is just a series of travails. Tweeting furiously on MacBook Air with paraben-free bed hair, feeling bad for so many things, so many things. Like how COVID got max attention even though AIDS, SARS, Ebola, Zika is COVID digital economy ka banaya hua dhoka. Why we never think of Africa, of Mexico and the Caribbean generally? What about common flu and death of common sense? Cancer of breast, run a marathon. Cancer of cervix, don't run at all. But also color blindness is like a real issue, and also people with color and blindness. Latinx probs and women eating processed carbs, right-wing trolls and hashtag couple goals, lefties with too much attitude. But also what about fence sitters, but also squatters, unpaid hawkers, and what about daily wage workers and social responsibility shirkers, antibiotics in chicken? But what to do? I love chicken wings, munchies ke but what about vegans ke liye protein source? But what about peanut allergies, gluten, lactose, fructose? Just be chill and microdose. And what about LGBTQIA, and why is the A so ignored? Why is not wanting an orgasm a respected choice? What's happening in the room with locker room boys, and what's happening in the world with cannabis legalization? And how terrible is nicotine consumption after movement meditation? What about decline of indie music industry? What is indie anyway, dude? But comedians, they're like low-key making lead content, plus plus-size people need clothing options, and screw fast fashion, plus inclusivity and diversity are very hot, almost scorching like climate change. Couldn't summer in Istanbul, couldn't do Lisbon, couldn't do Mallorca, Mykonos, not even Mandarin. But listen, people are dying, people are dying, people are dying, and Murakami hasn't written anything in 2 years, and what kind of book am I supposed to say I'm reading even? So many things, so many things. My friend was right. Without you, I was ordinary. I am. I am ordinary. Without you, I was lonely. I am. I am lonely. How many of you have felt lonely through this time? You don't have to raise your hand, just. It's one of those questions. Pyare, 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 pyare. Pyare, pyare audience ji. true story. Right here in this very auditorium, in this theatre, I was performing, and even before the doors opened, an uncle and auntie came and sat in the third or fourth row where I'm sitting actually. We were a bit panicked. We hadn't officially let people in, and we told them that, probably come back after 15-20 minutes after the first bell. But they said, no, now we've come and sat, what's the problem? So we said, okay, older couple in their 50s, let them sit. They watched me warm up and all, and then they took out a tiffin box with thepla and sandwich. Smelled damn good actually, but didn't have the courage to ask for a bite. Somebody told them, food and beverage is not allowed in the theatre. They were like, yeah, but there's no popcorn stand outside, no chai stand outside. We should have one, just like in the movies. Seats are also red, just like in the movies. We said, well, you can have that after the show. They said, no, you should have a popcorn stand because audience will enjoy the performance much better if their stomachs are full and if they're constantly munching on something. We said, yeah. They watched the whole performance. I think they enjoyed it, but later they told me my acting could be better, although my expressions were not too bad. And they said, we must have a popcorn stand and a chai stand. That suggestion still stands. Thank you. Thank you for being such a wonderful audience and for supporting this experiment. Still evolving, still figuring it out. But I hope that was a somewhat enjoyable experience for you. We have, on a scale of 1 to 5, we have a small discussion. But before that, I'd just like to, before you leave, I'd just like to introduce the team and one of the special appearance members who is also watching. Noah, just switch on your video, please. We have Niranjan on lights, Niranjan Gokhale, Nikhil Nagaraj on sound, produced by Medha and Debusmita, photography by Aparna Nori, who's also watching, videography by Tarun. We're at the Bangalore International Center, performing to you from an empty theatre, and this show is created for the Serendipity Arts Virtual, a festival that happens in Goa every year but went virtual this year. My name is Deepika Arvind, and this is Zoom. The venue is Zoom. We have a small discussion. Actually, Noah, are you there? Can we spotlight him? He was the American friend who rejected me. Hey, wave. All right. I'm going to complete that sentence now. We have a small discussion after about 2 minutes. It's 4:54. We'll come back at 4:56 p.m. Those of you who'd like to stay back, talk to us, tell us your concerns, maybe share your lockdown stories, because we hope to make another iteration of the show with your lockdown stories or your unique experiences through this year, 2020. Of course, if you have to leave, I understand, but if you'd like to stay back and tell us a little bit about what you thought, how we can do better, that would be great. So 2 minutes break, and we'll see you on the other side if you are around. For those of you who are not, thank you very much and have a great day.